All right, so we got this kit from Amazon. This is what it came in the kit. Okay, let's see what's there. The motor, brackets, sprocket, and a bunch of hardware. So that's all we used. Then we used this bag that was extra, separate order, and battery, AliExpress, separate order. And this is what you need to make it happen. So let's get into installing it. To take the wheel off, we gotta loosen this off so we can pull the wheel out. Just grab it over here, hold this back, pull on it, unhook it, and this thing opens up. To take it off, we loosen the bolts, we took the brake apart. Now we're gonna pull this back like so and just lift straight up and move it to the side. Easy peasy. That's the word of the day. In a kit, we got these two rubbers. One it's cut, one it's not. So since we don't have disc brakes, this is a lot easier for us to do because there's nothing that we have to take off. Since it's cut, put it in between, put it around, okay? Next piece, we're gonna put this rubber that it's not cut up here. Then we're gonna place this guy, bolts, and these half-shaped moons that's gonna be sandwiching all these three pieces together. From the top, place this guy here. Then we do this guy. Then just find any of these holes here. I'm gonna just push it through. Okay. Then, so once we have everything kinda through, just one bolt, we're gonna grab this half moon, place it on top. Then we're gonna go a washer, a lock washer, and a nut. You want to make sure you put the bolt from outside in, so that way you don't have nothing hanging on this side. Okay, just go snug. Okay, that's it. Now we find another one. We're going to just kind of line everything up, move over, poke through here. There we go. Inside these bolts, just wiggle it through. There we go. It came through. We need this half moon piece. Repeat the process. Make sure you keep everything loose. You don't want to tighten the first bolt because you'll see as you are putting everything together, you want it loose, just so you can wiggle around so that the bolts can go through these spokes. There it is. So this is all just loose right now. But now I'm just gonna make sure that it's all kind of sitting in the center and start tightening. And we're gonna go cross pattern tightening. 10 millimeter. Actually, don't even need to hold it back yet. So I'm just gonna hold it with a finger and just snug it up. Move the wheel, snug it up. Just kind of slowly work it around. We need to basically sandwich this pretty good. That way this thing becomes as one and there is no play because there's going to be lots of torque exerted onto spokes. I'm going to be tightening all the way around until my lock washer starts to flatten out. You see? So that's tight enough. This guy here is not yet. So I'm going to tighten that guy now. Right? So, and then if you watch it, I'm going to go like this, snugging it up, You see? You just flatten out. That's it. You don't need much more than this. Just we want it as straight as possible and snug. And now, if you look from top, and I spin this, yeah, see? So that's what we want. All right, this part is done. Let's install it. Put the chain on, okay? Let it dangle like that. Do the same thing, repeat again. You rest it there. I'm gonna pull it back like this. Make sure the chain is on the inside, on the other side. This thing on the smallest gear. Drop it down. Clear everything. Boom. Keep it straight here. You just kind of snug it up somewhat, and then we'll be able to install the brackets and the motor now. All right, so this is the tricky part. Last time when I did it, I found it was the hardest part of this build. Depending of your frame of your bike, this thing might be perfect for you, or it might not be. So we might need to add the spacers like this, or bend the bracket. And this is where it's tough, because it's a very thick metal. All right, these screws here, remove them. The bracket, you can go on only one way. This is wrong, this is right way, kinda just made for it. Just like that, line up the holes, keep it loose so you can easily line everything up. Once it's there, snug it up. You're just gonna check how it's gonna fit. But we'll see on this bike if it's gonna work out for us. So you're gonna loosen this guy, and then you're gonna check how good it is for you. So if we line it up, and then we're gonna just look at it, see how it's all working. Not great, because it's sticking out too much. You see, it's not straight. So we'll have to bend the bracket to move this more in. Okay, so grabbing and hammering it like that probably will do the trick. So let's remove it from the motor, and I'm gonna put it on a piece of wood, hammer it. Be right back. So this was the first bike. I bent the bracket here, but then as well I had to bend this back end so you can clear just these forks here. There's a huge bump there. So I'm going to try to bend my other bracket same way. So let's see if you just have a hammer, if you can do it. Let's see. So put it down so that this point here and this point is down, and then we're gonna hit on this high point. Yeah. It's working. Okay, so if you have just a hammer, you'll be able to do it. It just takes time. Now again, I'm gonna try now because of this part here. I'm gonna kinda rest it here and then here, and I'm gonna hit the high point here. Okay. I'm trying to bring this closer. I'm hitting this high point. So we need to somehow bend this as well. So kind of offset it in and this way. To create a pivot point here, I'm going to keep hitting here, so this thing should bend this way. And then we're going to flip it around and bend it back. So let's just try it like this. There we go. Okay, you see? We're bending it. There you go. And now gonna put it like that. And then try to just bend this point here. So something like that. It's just kind of off bend it. Hopefully you don't have to do that on your bike, so you can skip forward if your works great. So here we go. So now it's getting closer there. I gotta bend this a little bit more to bring this point back there. And look at that. It's kind of getting there, you see? So we're touching it back here. We're touching back there. And we're touching up here. And touching it back at this end. So I think that's closer. So I'm just gonna straighten this part here a little bit more, and then we'll see how it all fits together. Screws back in. Just hand tight. Let's just see. From the top down, this thing should be lined up pretty good. So that's what we were trying to achieve, and that's why I was kind of bending the bracket. And then when this thing spins, it should all move straight without falling off. But okay. let's put it together. You can loosen this, guys. Add some washers or spacers in behind here, and then tighten it, and you can kind of make an alignment. But in my case, I think I got really lucky with hammering this bracket. Just so he holds it for you. Supporting it with my knee. Putting this bracket through. And again, this is the hardest part of the build, is this part here. So if you get this part, you're laughing. Washer. And then keep it loose until you're ready to align everything, all the bolts in. So as for the tension, you don't want to have too loose and you don't want to have it too tight. So that way your motor bearings or your gearbox here lasts as long as you can. So now that's kind of that's my tension here, just a little bit, but it's nice and snug. And I'm looking straight down, making sure that this thing is staying straight, and the wheel here is in center in the forks there. So now I'm just tightening it, going left, right, bottom. Let's flip the bike. Look straight down. It's almost perfect, but I think there is still some adjustment needed.
Seems to be a bent a little bit, no?
Yeah. So here, when I now flip it around and I test it, it's pretty good. It's staying there, but occasionally I heard it once, kind of this tooth, it would hit the side of the chain. It's a bit on an angle like this, so I still need to bring it more straight in line with this back point. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm just going to hammer this back end a little bit more. So right now it's like that, so you want to go like that. So let's take this off again. Yay. So close, but no cigar.
Easy peasy, a tagline.
Yeah, easy peasy. So just to bring it a little bit more closer. All right, let's see. Put it in here. I'm gonna get so good at this. All right. Okay. Now I can see this bracket is actually touching the fork there, so it is closer by like a 1/8, something like that. Again, my tension, I don't want it too tight and I don't want it loose. Check that, it's a little bit on the loose side, so try to move it back a little bit. It's kind of snug. I'm gonna now tighten the back end here. $10mm socket. Oh yeah, it's looking better. I think we got it. Oh, it's sounding good. All right. And let's try this way. There you go. See? Excellent. The hardest part is done. So let's do now the handles. Easy peasy. All right, let's get on it. In order to remove this handle, I found it the easiest part is just kind of grab it here and just start pulling back, kind of rolling it on itself. If it's a rubber handle, see, it kind of just comes off pretty easy. Or you could grab a knife and just cut it if you're not gonna reuse it. You're gonna loosen that guy off. There should be an Allen key over here. In this case, it's 2.5mm. So I'm just gonna loosen it off. There you go. So loose, and that comes off. Okay, I'm gonna move it down over to this side. Move it back. Slide this guy. This handle just kind of pushes on. There we go. That's pushed in all the way. And for gears, I'm gonna...
Did you need that washer or no? That thing?
In between? No.
Not anymore.
No. I'll make a space with the... No, you don't need washer. Try to install washer before you slide this handle on, because this handle, it's not coming off. It's really tight. So what I'm gonna do is not install it, but what I will do is I'll create a small space just here, and then I'm gonna use Allen key here to kind of tighten it so we can keep the small space so you can spin it easily. There you go. So we can change the gears. You're going to move it back in here and tighten it. Speed controller, and also it displays your voltage and also your lock. Loosen this guy off. Now we can slide it in. There we go. We like it like that. Tighten it in place. 5 mil. Loosen that off. Move that guy in here. Look at that. Looks like almost we know what we're doing. It's looking good. So before you put it all in a bag, you can kind of assemble it and just test it, make sure that it works. Even before I installed that motor, I should have just plugged in everything and just test it before you spend time installing it. So that's pro tip. Plug it together and test it that it works. So now to connect this controller, in order to test it before we go too far, we're gonna grab the wire from the motor. This is in a kit. The motor is here in a kit. It connects to blue and yellow. Just plugs in like that. If you want to disconnect it, just push this tab here and just unplugs. So that's one wire connected. This is going to be our power. So we're going to grab this guy. You can plug it in wrong. This is two female ends. Here's a male end, female end. Plugs in. This is going to go to battery. Okay. And then luckily this I purchased in the past many of these controllers, and they don't really come marked, and all the wires are kind of same color. So luckily this kit I didn't struggle with figuring out anything, because what we have to do here, so we have the motor, the battery connected, and then this 3-wire. Out of all of these, only one has the 3-wire connector. You just plug in over here. This goes to the throttle, and then this is the key that will kill the battery power on and off, and that over here is the blue and red, and it's actually labeled, and it says power lock. So that plugs in here. Okay, and that's all we're gonna use here. These other 3 wires, one is, I'm not sure which one is what, but one is for your brake lights and one is for your emergency brake. When you brake, it will stop, but this kit didn't come with that. And anyways, whenever we brake, we're gonna use our original existing brakes, and you're just gonna ease off the throttle so you can stop and then pull the brake. It's kind of common sense, so we don't use these 3 wires. That's it. Okay, so let's put this aside and figure out how we're gonna connect the power. Red on red, because this is our hot and this is negative, minus, and it's straightforward. So you can just do this. You're gonna cut one wire at a time, because if you touch the both together like this, you will create dead short. You don't want to do that. That's bad. So cut one wire at a time. Okay, so we're gonna put that aside. All right, so once you cut the wires, you can do a couple things. You could use these connectors that came with the kit, and you have to strip the wire and then kind of crimp it on, and then you slide it into the plastic, and then it will just kind of plug in. Okay, I don't want to use that, so for simplicity's sake, this is how I'm gonna do it. So I'll show you. You're gonna strip the wire. Okay, and I'm gonna use these spade connector. Slide it in. Okay, and then just really importantly, look at it over here. So the black wire is on this side, so I'm going to connect it to this guy over here. Black on black. Oh, there you go. Okay, and then red wire, red on red. Very simple. That's it. That's our battery hookup. I think since this is tutorial, I should show you how to do the other ways as well. So I'm gonna just unplug this controller. I'm gonna cut this off, and I'm gonna show you next way of maretting it together. So we're gonna now strip it. So there you go, that's stripped. For demonstration purposes, I'm cutting this guy off, and I'll show you how to maret it together. So there you go. I stripped this guy with my strippers. But hey, how do you use the knife again, Tommy? Well, like this. Put the wire there, roughly 1/2 inch sticking out, and just spin it around. Go like that and pull off. Okay? So we're gonna now put the black on black, put them side by side, tip points. You can just kind of get it slightly overlapping on itself. Put this thing straight down and then twist. Keep twisting until your wire starts twisting out like this, okay? And then try to pull on this guy, make sure that it's sitting tight. That's good. So that's the maret option. Now, so for this guy, you do need a crimping tool, but I think it kind of uses less space. It's not as bulky in a bag. So just put it there and then crimp it. So if you see, there is a pin here, and this one is more just like an kind of oval thing here. So this guy is INS, so insulated things you crimp with this guy, and this guy here is non-insulated. When they don't have plastic, you use this guy here. So don't use this guy here, because that's gonna make a hole on your plastic and you can have a short. Okay, so that looks good there. I'm gonna now grab the other side, positive. So red on red, make sure nothing is touching. And then crimp it. Okay. Crimp it. Crimp it. Okay. So I guess we're gonna go with this one for this bike. Okay. Plug it in. And turn the power on. What? Come over here, guys. Look at this. This guy is coming out. That's not good. Okay, kill the power. Let's see what's happening here. All right. Just make sure these guys are sitting nice in there. Okay, now it's pushed in. I guess you have to hold back, make sure it's nice plugged in, everything. Okay, let's see now. Okay, power on. Woohoo! All right, so we know it works, so let's put it in the bag. All right, it's 24 bucks, and this guy was just big enough to fit that battery from AliExpress and this controller. So this is why we went with this bag, and it does look nice. All right, so the bag is attached. So now we have this wire here. Bring it along the side here. we're just fishing it through. Cable ties, gonna use that, and just gonna go like this. Put the wire here. Let's see what we like, how appearance wise. I think that's not bad there. Again, I'm not tightening it all the way too much, just kind of placing it. I always like to just kind of place stuff loosely in place, because you always need to maybe adjust it, or you don't like the way the wires go. Then the controller. So this guy, we're gonna go straighten out the cable a little bit. There you go, that looks better. And we can either follow this. So now, since this is all gonna be here together with battery, I'm gonna actually cut this guy off. I don't need this, and I just wanna make more room and less chance of it shorting out any wires. So I'm just cutting that off, and then I'm gonna just file it off. Try point. To protect the battery, I'm gonna use this insulation tape. This is what we'll do here. Just gonna wrap it, this guy, from the top down like that. So for the throttle, what I'm gonna do, there is some elastic band down here. I'm just gonna kind of fish this in here through, keep everything at the bottom. There you go. So that's at the bottom. I'm gonna connect all of these guys. My blue and red wire, blue and red connects to the brake. Okay, and then this guy make sure that's plugged in good. Okay, I'm gonna keep the wires on the bottom, insulation on the top like this. Kinda gets squished in there. Okay, and our battery goes on top. It's on. Okay, should keep it off while messing around with it. Okay. Let's see what's the best way of getting this in here. Whoo! Just tight. Just take your time putting it together. There we go. This Velcro, just gonna tighten it now. Okay, that's nice and tight. And the extra, we're gonna cut off. Gonna cut the zip ties off. Okay. That's it, guys. Yeah! Opa! Ooh, ooh, ooh. It has power. Let's take it for a spin. Put this feet. It works like a charm. Thanks for watching. Hope you like it. So nice, man. I love it.